Alright guys, I'm back. Sorry it's been a minute since I've uploaded last. There's a topic that I've been thinking about that I don't really think a whole lot of people have covered, and that's your drippers on your sawmill. Let's see, how much should I use? And like how much is too much and how much is too little, which I don't really think of it in the aspect of too much or too little. Try to find a fine medium in between. Like, I'm not just trying to paint my logs with my drippers. And you want enough on the blade where your blade's not going to get hot, because your blade getting hot can cause your blade to prematurely break down. Well, snap in half. That's one of the many factors that can cause your blade to snap on you, is your blade getting hot because there's not enough lubrication on the blade. Now, what should you run as far as your drippers go? What sort of lubrication should you use? I haven't really experimented with any of the lubrications that they sell strictly for sawmills as far as drippers goes. I know there's two main lubrications that people use for drippers, and that is one being soap and water. I know they used to run that a lot, and the other being diesel. I can't really speak on anything other than that. I do know, for instance, if you are using an angle grinder and you've got wood nearby and you're grinding metal and you get a little bit of water on that wood, it's going to stain the wood. So your drippers, they cool your blade down and they keep your blade clean. And in my experience, diesel is the best of that. Too small of amount of diesel on your drippers of your lubrication can cause your blade to heat up. I've done said that. Too much, you don't want to be painting your logs with it. There's kind of a fine medium, and what I usually do is get it just dripping just enough, and some have like glasses on it and they tell you how to adjust it, and most of the time that works out. Sometimes sawing different woods will stick to your blade a little bit more than other types of wood. Pine is bad about that sap build up and stuff on the blade, gets on your band wheels, on your blade, can cause your blade to track off. Usually when that happens, I'll crank the diesel up a little bit. I usually let it have it, because it'll, you run it a little bit too much diesel for a minute and it'll just saturate all that sap and it'll break off and it'll break it loose from blade, the band wheels, and then I'll just turn the dripper back down again. That's usually if you're not watching and you don't have your dripper set right, it can build up. And I usually just crank it up a little bit, clear that problem out of the way. But with the wood and staining, I have noticed, and I haven't really it's been years ago since I've seen people run soap and water, and I know it stains. I think it stains, if I remember right, because of the metal, water, and wood. It can cause your boards to turn colors a little quicker. Whereas I've noticed with diesel, if you're running diesel on it, I don't know, I think it kind of works like oil in an engine. It's get real slick, pretty good lubrication, your oil in your engine. From what I was taught, that oil keeps the actual piston from contacting the cylinder walls, so nothing ever really touches or it wear. And that's the same way I look at diesel in your drippers on your band, because as long as I've been running diesel, I haven't noticed my lumber bluing from the metal and such. I think it's a good enough lubrication that from a microscopic standpoint, maybe it just coats and protects the wood. I don't know, but maybe that it keeps the metal from actually coming in contact with the wood. Because I know if you don't have any lubrication, it can also cause your lumber to blue. For instance, I seen a mill, don't know if I should say the name. They claimed that with their brass scrapers on the wheels, that you didn't need to run any sort of lubrication or a dripper. It didn't need a dripper because it had those blades cleaning the wheels off. And I've seen some with both, the blades and the lubrication. But they claimed that they did not need any sort of lubrication because of their blades on their band wheels. It claimed it'd keep it clean. But without the lubrication, you got to think it's the lubrication you're running in your drippers is also to keep your band cool. It's not just to keep everything clean. It's to keep your band cool. Any sort of buildup, it's still got buildup on it, but any sort of buildup will cause it to vibrate. Just a whole lot of things that will cause your band to prematurely break. See, I think this video is turning out longer than I intended it to. Anything else? Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed on that one that wasn't running any sort of lubrication, the claim was that they didn't need any sort of lubrication. The lumber that came off of it would blue in about a day. And so you had to get a load of lumber out within at least half a week, sometimes even sooner than that. I think we've sent it out sooner than that before. And it got turned down because of how much the color had changed in the wood. Whereas if they had like a diesel drip on it, then the lumber would not have blued as quickly. I haven't seen anything blue with diesel drip, but I'm not going to say it couldn't happen. But in my experience, I've cut lumber with the diesel drip and I watched it set for a long time and never blew. One thing I've wondered about is, a circular saw, like on a big carriage mill, you never really see the lumber blue on anything like that, and they aren't running any sort of lubrication. I don't know why. The only thought that I could have on that as to why is your carbide teeth hang over a little bit because they're wider on the front, and maybe it causes less contact with the actual metal on the blade because it's taking out more than just the blade width. That's all I think I've got for now. My experience, diesel's been the best, but I haven't used any of the advertised lubrications for your drippers on your sawmills, so I can't really speak on that. But from my experience, I have ran diesel, and that seems like the to-go thing now. And I think the bluing is a lot of it because you don't want your product, you don't want to saw it one day and then turn around the next day and it's got blue like an 1/8 inch down into it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I haven't really seen anybody talk about drippers, what kind of to use. Somebody can do a video, more in-depth video, and test out different additives and stuff and see what might be the best. I don't know, that's an idea. I don't think soap and water would be. I think diesel breaks down all that buildup and stuff a lot easier. I think that's all I've got for now. Thanks for watching. Make sure and hit that subscribe button.